The title of this video is Managing Art. It is a delicate art. You think you're being managed by your manager, but your manager is actually just managing down. You need to manage up. You need to make sure that the way that you're handling them is under your control to some extent. Let's look at some approaches. Well, you want the manager to be giving you challenging work, not difficult work, but challenging, so you're growing. You want them to support your decisions, and you want them to be coaching you if they can, if they're experts in that area, and developing your skills. And you want to have a good relationship. You want to recognize conflict and deal with its causes. So you want to get it out of the way. You don't want to live in an environment of conflict for a long period of time. Clear it off the table if you can. But some managers always give feedback and never receive feedback. They can look over your shoulder all day and make you feel like you're always being watched. They may not be flexible at all. They may want things on time, every time, and may go off the handle if you can't hit that for some reason. They might not take responsibility for the team. They might not care for their team, and they may not be personally motivated. So you need to understand that dealing with the manager, they've got all of these things going on, and it's difficult to get around that and actually handle that. So you need to understand and learn about managing up. So what do managers want? Ideally, all these things: to be technically competent at HR, to be liked, to look good, keep their promises, and look after their team. Is that easy? It's not easy all the time. Managers can inspire, provide vision, and protect you. That's an ideal world. Doesn't happen in every situation though. Unfortunately, they can crush your confidence. They can ask you to do a piece of work over and over and over again and keep saying it's not good enough and keep changing why it's not good enough. That crushes your confidence. That's really difficult. Managers can be unpredictable. They can be here, they can be over there. Sometimes they can be really angry for reasons that you don't understand. Sometimes they can be really friendly and oscillate between the two. They can be really difficult to understand. And they can make your life really hard because they have so much influence on what you're doing. What managers need is they need a platform. They need to be respected for something. They need a reputation, a profile. What they need to do is to get the best from their team, to have those difficult conversations, handle conflict, and set the direction. It sounds easy, but it isn't always. So let them drive. Put them in the driver's seat of your work. Don't control everything. Give them some control. You need to control the amount of control that they have. How do you do this? Well, tell them about your options. As I said, don't talk to them about your problems. Tell them about your options and seek feedback. Actually help your manager. They won't be good at everything. What can you do that you can help them with? I remember one time my manager had to go and talk to a very high-level executive, and 5 minutes before that meeting, I walked into his office and said, here's a report that you can take that shows some of the work that we've been doing recently about a particular product. And he looked at me with such thanks in his eyes. So I don't know exactly what the situation was, but me giving him that information and showing him that I was aware of what he was going into, he really appreciated that. Now you've got to match their preferred communication style. I've already talked about the communication style differences between executives and engineers. Use that framework. Understand how they operate and prepare and match. If you're talking the same language, it'll be much easier to get them on board and understand that you're actually similar people and that you're working with them and not blocking them. Talk about confidential issues with teammates. Their job is HR. They need to deal with these sorts of things and have those conversations with HR, human resources, if necessary. And let them know that you've heard what they say. Listen, repeat, make sure you understand. If you've left a meeting and you haven't understood what they've said, you may go away and work for a month and work on the wrong thing. So repeat back to them what they've said and ensure that you actually understand what they say. Take notes. Really pay attention. It's absolutely critical. Now, if you're a manager, you need to understand different people like to be managed differently. Ask them how they like to be managed. Who was their best manager? What did they think was so effective about their manager? You need to ask them individually these questions. Some people like the manager to check in with them all the time. Other people like the manager to be right out of it and just periodically check in. Different people are motivated by different things. They have different communication styles. Try and match their styles as well. And different people have various histories. What I mean is, if your team has worked together for a long time, they will have had a lot of things happen to them as a group, and they may have various issues with other people. There may be a lot of bad feelings in the organisation. So you have to try and get across all of that. Finally, some people are just outstanding, and you can get a lot out of, have such a rewarding work life working with people who are awesome as a manager.